Kids run better unleaded. Lead poisoning prevention for pregnant and parenting teens. Section 3. Let's do a short recap of what we've learned so far. We learned that lead is in more places than we thought. And we discovered that only a very tiny amount of lead can poison a child. Remember, even though a child may not look sick, lead in the body can harm a child's brain and lead to lifelong problems. Most recently, we learned how pregnant women may pass lead on to their children. Now we'll focus on how you may come into contact with lead in your own life and how you can prevent passing it on to your unborn child if you're pregnant. Remember that no amount of lead in the body is safe. You may think there is no way you could become lead poisoned. You don't play around in soil, you might not eat junk food anymore, and you probably don't eat paint chips. But there are still ways you can get exposed to lead, and these ways can harm your baby without you even knowing it. When you're pregnant, you're going through a lot of changes, both mentally and physically. You have high hopes and dreams for your child. That's why it's crucial to know if you have been or still are being exposed to lead and how to protect against passing lead to your child. Many of us have to work in less than comfortable conditions. If you work in construction, at a factory, or in a dusty, dirty environment, make sure you change your clothes and shoes before entering your house. That way, any hazardous material you may have encountered while working won't enter your home. You've probably heard about funny food cravings during pregnancy, but do you know about pica? Pica is a medical condition, and people who have pica get an appetite or craving to eat non-food items like paint chips. This craving can be hard to control when you're pregnant, so make sure you surround yourself with good food to stave off cravings when they hit. Proper nutrition matters. Now let's focus on what to eat so that you and your baby can have a healthy start together. One of the easiest ways to protect you and your baby from lead poisoning is to make sure you're both eating right, both during pregnancy and after you give birth. Not only will good nutrition help your child develop normally, but it will help you keep the high energy and enthusiasm you need to be a parent. Breakfast gives you an important start for your day, so make sure you're getting enough vitamins for an active morning. You might be tempted to skip breakfast, but don't. Your body is more likely to absorb lead after you haven't eaten for a while, like after you've been sleeping at night. So going to school or work on an empty stomach is not a good idea. These breakfast foods are good to include. If you have enough calcium in your body when you're pregnant, you can reduce the lead in your blood by 10%. To combat the many cravings you'll have during pregnancy, make sure to buy delicious snacks. Pears, carrots, and yogurt are all good choices. They not only taste good, but they will make you feel good. Most packaged products will have this label, so you can check for the highlighted vitamins and minerals you need to be healthy. Now let's focus on food for your baby. If your child has tested positive for lead poisoning, a proper diet can actually slow down the body's absorption of lead. Important minerals and vitamins include vitamin C, iron, and calcium. Healthy food choices include nutritious baby food, breast milk, and cereals fortified with calcium and iron when they can chew them. Cheese is a great source of calcium when your baby can digest it. If your baby doesn't have enough iron, she will absorb more lead. Iron-fortified cereal and fortified oatmeal contain plenty of iron. Vitamin C's job is to boost the amount of iron the body keeps, so eating a fruit with every meal can help your child keep the iron he needs in his body. Bell peppers, watermelon, and leafy greens are some of the foods that have lots of vitamin C. Full stomachs absorb less lead, so 3 meals a day and 1 to 2 snacks is a good rule for you and your baby. Be sure that the snacks you choose are healthy ones. Junk foods may fill the stomach but provide no health benefits to your child. Another way to curb the damage of lead poisoning if your child has been affected by lead is to give him or her a caring environment at home. As we mentioned before, Lead may negatively affect a child's ability to learn, so spending extra time reading to your child is a great way to help them learn to read and to get them ready for school. Lead poisoning is one of the most preventable harms to children's health in the USA today. We've shown you ways to recognize lead and to find out if your child is lead poisoned. And we've talked about the terrible effects of lead when it reaches the developing brain. We've also looked at why it's important to have a healthy diet when you're pregnant to protect your baby. And we've suggested some ways to help protect your child from lead poisoning after you give birth. This final segment will end with simple steps you can take to make your home lead safe and a healthy place for your child to live and grow. How can we prevent lead poisoning? There are many ways to make it less likely that your child will be lead poisoned. Some of these steps are not difficult. Use mops and rags. Use wet mops and rags, not dry ones, when cleaning, because brooms and dry rags will spread dust that could contain lead. Wash hands. This is a simple tip, but so important in preventing lead poisoning. Make sure your child washes his or her hands before eating a meal, after they play outside, and before bedtime. Pacifiers. Pacifiers need to be washed constantly because once they're out of a baby's mouth, they are usually on the ground. Keep work clothes at work. Remember not to bring your dirty work clothes into the house, especially areas your children play in. Keep cribs clear of lead hazards. Make sure your cribs are made of safe materials, and keep them away from older window frames or walls that show cracks or dents and may have peeling paint. Cribs are often passed down, and many older cribs can have lead-based paint. Remember that if your home was built before 1978, it likely has lead paint. If construction is being done on your home or apartment, be especially careful that the area being remodeled is sealed off from the rest of the house. In fact, the Environmental Protection Agency requires that all contractors working on older houses be specially trained so that their removal of paint does not release lead into the air. Though your child may be curious about what's going on, keep him away from all repairs and renovations. This is not only a lead issue, but a general safety issue. Remember to have your child tested. If you find out that your child has lead in his body, you can take the steps we talked about to find the source of lead and get rid of it, so that he doesn't get more lead into his system. Then give your child the best nutritional, emotional, and educational support you can. With this presentation, we hope that we've given you good reasons to make small changes and some big ones to your daily habits and in your home to help prevent lead poisoning. These changes can have big consequences for your child's future. When children are lead-free, the future looks bright, and they're on their way to reaching their full potential. Lead poisoning is one of the few unrecognized serious health threats to children. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, 300,000 children in the U.S. have lead poisoning. It is also one of the most preventable environmental health problems, yet it's one of the most ignored. Lead poisoning can keep entire communities down, lowering the chances year after year for young people to succeed and realize their dreams. But knowledge is power. Now that you have the knowledge about lead poisoning, you can take steps to help prevent it, so that lead will not be a threat to your child's future or to any other child's future. You can make your home lead safe not only for you, but for the little ones you love most. The end.